In July 1969, humanity achieved the unthinkable, setting foot on the moon. The iconic moment when astronauts descended the ladder, broadcast to millions, marked a triumph that echoed across the globe. Yet, that one giant leap was just the beginning of an audacious saga. The Apollo program, a breathtaking testament to human ingenuity, didn't stop at one lunar landing. In a mere 3 years, NASA orchestrated 6 daring moon missions, a feat so staggering it defies modern comprehension. 6 crude, heart-stopping landings on an alien world, each pushing the boundaries of what humanity believed possible. But what were these brave explorers doing up there? What challenges did they face? And what secrets did they uncover on the moon's desolate surface? The untold story of Apollo is a roller coaster of peril, brilliance, and discoveries that reshaped our understanding of the cosmos. Just months after the historic first landing, November 1969 saw the second crew strap into a colossal Saturn V rocket, ready to return to the moon's embrace. This mission, a bold encore, aimed to outshine its predecessor with a state-of-the-art color television camera, promising vivid broadcasts to a world still reeling from the grainy black and white images of the first landing. But this wasn't just about better visuals. It was a critical test. The initial moon landing, while successful, had been a close call. The spacecraft had veered off course, overshooting its target by miles and landing in what was essentially a random lunar patch. This time, NASA needed precision. They chose a familiar target, a robotic lander that had softly touched down on the moon in 1967. The mission? Land within striking distance of this silent sentinel and prove humanity could master lunar navigation. The launch, however, was a heart-pounding gamble. As the rocket roared into the sky, it pierced a thunderstorm, an ill-fated decision driven by intense pressure. The president and his wife were among the spectators in Florida, and delaying the launch could mean months of waiting. But nature doesn't bow to human ambition. Just 36 seconds after liftoff, at 6,000 feet, a lightning bolt struck the spacecraft, plunging its electrical systems into chaos. Warning lights blazed, mission control lost contact, and the crew held their breath as the rocket hurtled upward. Then, 16 seconds later, another bolt struck, knocking out the main power, guidance, and navigation systems. Disaster loomed at 14,000 feet, with the rocket speeding toward catastrophe. Salvation came from a quick-thinking flight controller who, recalling a training simulation, radioed a now legendary command to switch the signal conditioning equipment to auxiliary mode. Power surged back, and the mission was saved. NASA learned a hard lesson. Never again would they launch into a storm. Against all odds, the crew achieved a near-pinpoint landing, touching down just 180 meters from their robotic target on the edge of a lunar crater. Millions on Earth tuned in, expecting a dazzling color broadcast from the moon's surface. What they saw was awe-inspiring. The second humans to tread on lunar soil, their movements ghostly in the alien landscape. But the spectacle was fleeting. Minutes into the moonwalk, one astronaut accidentally aimed the camera at the sun. With no atmosphere to diffuse its rays, the sun's brutal intensity fried the camera's delicate vacuum tubes, abruptly ending the broadcast. Undeterred, the crew pressed on, visiting the robotic lander and retrieving components, the first man-made objects to return from a prolonged stay in space. They also deployed a sophisticated suite of geophysical instruments, including a seismometer to detect moonquakes. To test it, NASA deliberately crashed their lunar spacecraft into the moon after the crew departed. The resulting vibrations stunned scientists, reverberating for nearly an hour, as if the moon itself were ringing like a bell. This eerie discovery hinted at a lunar world far stranger than anyone had imagined. The saga took a darker turn with the next mission, forever branded as the unlucky one. Halfway to the moon, an oxygen tank in the service module exploded, transforming a routine journey into a life-or-death struggle. The crew, stranded in a crippled spacecraft, faced dwindling oxygen and power. On Earth, millions watched, hearts in throats, as the drama unfolded. Every Apollo mission had been perilous, but this one laid bare the raw danger of space exploration. Miraculously, the crew survived, but the failure shook public and political faith in the lunar program. The moon, once a symbol of triumph, now loomed as a reminder of mortality. Yet, NASA pressed on. Nearly a year later, in 1971, the program staged a triumphant return. Leading the charge was a seasoned astronaut, the first American to reach space, now 47 and the oldest to walk on the moon. His experience would prove vital. The mission faced its own crisis during a critical docking maneuver. After launch, the command module needed to separate from the lunar lander, turn around, and dock nose to airlock. A delicate operation guided by a docking probe. But the probe failed, and 6 attempts to latch onto the lander ended in frustration. With the mission on the brink, the commander made a bold call. He switched off the faulty electronics and instructed the pilot to dock manually, relying on skill and instinct. Like a cosmic sharpshooter, the pilot nailed it, and the mission was saved. The landing was a marvel of precision, just 87 feet from the target, NASA's most accurate yet. On the moon, this commander added a touch of whimsy to the mission. He had secretly attached a golf club head to a lunar tool and smuggled 2 golf balls to the surface. In front of a live TV camera, he took a swing, his spacesuit limiting his motion. The first shot sliced, but the second connected, sending the ball soaring across the lunar landscape. He claimed it went miles and miles, though it traveled about 40 yards. That light-hearted moment, broadcast to a world still reeling from the previous mission's near disaster, was a balm for a nation's soul, restoring faith in NASA's lunar ambitions. The next mission, in 1971, was a game-changer. NASA had learned from the first 3 landings and unveiled a souped-up lunar toolkit. Enhanced life support systems allowed astronauts to stay on the moon for 3 full days, a quantum quad leap from earlier missions. They also introduced a lunar roving vehicle, a battery-powered dune buggy that could hit 15 kilometers per hour and travel 90 kilometers on a single charge. This electric beast let the crew explore mountain ranges and ancient lava flows, uncovering a 4.1 billion-year-old rock dubbed the Genesis Rock, a relic from the solar system's infancy. In a nod to history, the crew tested Galileo's gravity theory by dropping a feather and a hammer. Without air resistance, both fell at the same speed, proving the 16th century astronomer's point in a way he could only have dreamed. 10 months later, in April 1972, the next crew arrived in the lunar highlands, once thought to be a hotbed of ancient volcanic activity. Armed with the trusty lunar rover, they scoured the rugged terrain. One astronaut, who had orbited during the first landing but never walked the moon, now piloted the lander, leaving his own footprints in the dust. Their findings upended assumptions. The highlands weren't volcanic, but had been sculpted by colossal asteroid impacts. Another surprising discovery? Moon dust. The crew reported it felt greasy and smelled like gunpowder, a sensory detail that brought the alien world closer to home. By December 1972, the Apollo program reached its zenith and its end. Public and political interest had waned, but NASA went all in, mounting the most advanced human spaceflight in history, a record that stands unbroken in 2025. For the first time, a scientist, a geologist trained as a lunar pilot, set foot on the moon. The crew landed in a valley framed by steep cliffs, exposing ancient lunar rock. They spent 75 hours on the surface, with 22 hours of moonwalks, driving the rover over 36 kilometers and venturing 7 kilometers from their lander. Among their finds was orange soil, vivid volcanic glass spheres formed 3.6 billion years ago. They returned 110 kilograms of samples, the largest haul of any mission, laying the foundation for our modern understanding of the moon's volcanic past and the solar system's birth. As the final astronaut prepared to leave, he stood on the moon's surface, the last human to do so. His parting words, "With peace and hope for all mankind," echoed across the void, a poignant farewell to an era. The Apollo program, a whirlwind of triumphs, near disasters, and cosmic revelations, had ended. Yet its legacy endures, a beacon of what humanity can achieve when it dares to reach for the stars. The Apollo program wasn't just about planting flags or collecting rocks. It was a crucible of human spirit, forged in the face of unimaginable risks. Each mission pushed the limits of technology and courage, from lightning-struck rockets to manual dockings in the void. The moon, once a distant dream, became a stage for humanity's boldest steps. The program's 6 landings, each a saga of grit and genius, revealed a moon far stranger than anyone had imagined, a world of ringing quakes, ancient rocks, and orange volcanic glass. These discoveries rewrote our cosmic history, showing the moon as a time capsule of the solar system's violent birth. But Apollo was more than science. It was a mirror reflecting humanity's audacity and fragility. The near loss of one crew shocked the world, reminding us that space is an unforgiving frontier. Yet each triumph, whether a pinpoint landing, a golf swing, or a scientist's first steps, reignited hope, proving we could conquer the impossible. The Lunar rover, a marvel of engineering, turned astronauts into explorers, roving across alien landscapes to uncover truths billions of years old. The program's final mission, with its record-breaking sample haul, cemented NASA's legacy as a pioneer of the unknown. Today, as we stand in 2025, the moon remains a distant goal. NASA's Artemis program, launched with Artemis the Lunar in November 2022, aims to return humans to the lunar surface by 2026, with Artemis III targeting a landing in the lunar South Pole. Unlike Apollo, Artemis seeks sustainable exploration, with plans for a lunar gateway, a space station orbiting the moon, and long-term habitats. Private companies like SpaceX, with its Starship and Blue Origin, are now players, fueling a new space race. Yet Apollo's shadow looms large. Its breakneck pace, 6 landings in 3 years, remains unmatched, a testament to a time when humanity dared to dream bigger than ever before. The Apollo program's story is one of heart-stopping risks and jaw-dropping achievements. From lightning bolts to moonquakes, from golf swings to Genesis rocks, it was a saga of human brilliance against a cosmic backdrop. As we look to the stars in 2025, with Artemis on the horizon and private space ventures igniting new dreams, Apollo reminds us what's possible when we push beyond the impossible. Its legacy isn't just in the rocks brought back or the footprints left behind. It's in the unyielding spirit that carried us to the moon and will carry us back again. The first mission's success was a miracle, but it was messy. The spacecraft's off-course descent exposed NASA's early limits in precision landing. The second mission's pinpoint touchdown, just steps from a robotic lander, was a masterclass in redemption. Each mission built on the last, layering daring with discovery. The third mission's explosion turned a scientific quest into a survival epic, gripping the world as the crew fought to return home. The fourth mission, led by a space veteran, overcame docking failures with sheer skill, proving NASA's resilience. The fifth introduced the Lunar rover, transforming astronauts into cosmic trailblazers, while the sixth debunked myths about the moon's geology. The final mission, with a scientist at the helm, was a fitting crescendo, unearthing colorful clues to the moon's fiery past. Each Apollo mission was a gamble with stakes higher than any casino. Lightning strikes, exploding tanks, and faulty probes tested NASA's nerve. Yet every crisis sparked ingenuity. The flight controller's quick thinking saved one mission. A commander's cool head saved another. These weren't just technical wins. They were human triumphs, moments when ordinary people became heroes in the void. The moon itself was a character in this drama, revealing its secrets grudgingly. Moonquakes that rang for hours, rocks older than Earth, and soil that smelled of gunpowder painted a picture of a world both alien and familiar. Apollo's impact rippled far beyond the moon. It inspired generations, from engineers designing rovers to kids dreaming of the stars. The program's data, 741 rock samples, seismic readings, and more, still fuels research in 2025, with lunar samples studied in labs worldwide. NASA's Johnson Space Center, home to the Apollo collection, continues to unlock secrets about the moon's formation. Recent studies using advanced spectrometry have revealed water molecules trapped in lunar glass beads, hinting at a wetter lunar past. These findings, built on Apollo's foundation, shape plans for Artemis, which aims to mine lunar ice for water, fuel, and oxygen. The program wasn't flawless. Political pressure forced risky decisions, like launching in a storm. Budget cuts and waning public interest ended Apollo prematurely, leaving plans for more missions. Apollo 18, 19, and 20 on the drawing board. Yet its achievements were monumental. The lunar rover, a feat of compact engineering, enabled exploration unimaginable in 1969. The seismic experiments, still transmitting data until 1977, reshaped our understanding of the moon's interior. Even the golf swing, a moment of levity, showed the world that astronauts were human, not just heroes. As we stand on the cusp of a new lunar era, Apollo's lessons resonate. Artemis faces challenges Apollo never did: sustainable habitats, international partnerships, and commercial stakes. SpaceX's Starship, set to carry Artemis 3 astronauts, promises reusable rockets, a far cry from Apollo's disposable Saturn V. Yet the spirit remains the same. Apollo taught us to embrace the unknown, to turn crises into opportunities, and to dream beyond the horizon. The moon, once a distant speck, became a proving ground for humanity's potential. As we prepare to return, with Artemis 3 targeting 2026 and private companies racing to the lunar South Pole, Apollo's legacy burns brighter than ever, a cosmic call to keep reaching, keep exploring, and keep daring to touch the stars. The Apollo program's 6 missions were a symphony of human ambition, each note a blend of terror and triumph. The first landing, a shaky success, set the stage for a relentless push forward. The second, struck by lightning, proved NASA could tame chaos. The third's explosion turned astronauts into survivors, their return a miracle watched by millions. The fourth, with its golf swing swagger, restored faith. The fifth and sixth, with rovers and revelations, expanded our cosmic map. The final mission, led by a scientist, was a love letter to discovery, its orange soil a vibrant farewell. Together, they wove a tapestry of courage, ingenuity, and wonder, forever etched in the lunar dust. In 2025, as we eye the moon once more, Apollo's story is a rallying cry. Artemis 3, delayed by technical hurdles, aims to land near the lunar South Pole, where ice reserves could fuel a new era of exploration. SpaceX, Blue Origin, and international partners like ESA and JAXA are rewriting the rules, with reusable rockets and lunar bases on the horizon. Yet Apollo's spirit, bold, relentless, human, remains the heartbeat of this new age. From lightning-struck launches to billion-year-old rocks, Apollo showed us what's possible when we dare to dream big. As we stand on the brink of returning, its legacy whispers, "The moon is just the beginning."